Hey friends, Courtney here. Long time no see. And I feel like every video in the past year has been like that. Long time no see. Because I have not been consistent. And one of the reasons is my health and some other things have been going on. So I wanted to come in and give an update because I know with many of my favorite YouTubers, when I'm not seeing their videos, I don't know how to get a hold of them besides leaving messages, and I start to worry and everything if they're okay. A couple of them have just disappeared without any kind of explanation why. So anyway, I thought I'd give you an update on what's going on and also some changes we're making financially right now, why we're making those changes, and just kind of our real life, my life with the financial and the veganism, and what's been going on. So a quick update. I had in earlier videos told you guys that I was getting sick. Well, I was having a really severe autoimmune flare. And this year, because my husband went on Medicare last in January, I believe it was, we decided to just go ahead and put all of our resources into trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So I have been at the doctor having all kinds of stuff going on to rule out anything else underlying besides long COVID or autoimmune flare with Sjogren's disease and RA, which I have managed my RA very well with my diet in the sense that I do not test positive anymore for rheumatoid arthritis. The Sjogren's has been worse actually. So I had a flare, I had some illness, and now after having long COVID, every time I get ill, I go into an autoimmune flare. So I've been seeing pulmonologists. I've been going to the hospital for tests. I'm in the hospital or at the doctor weekly. And so it's been hard to keep up. And also during all of this, I started menopause, or I've been in the menopause. I had the menopause, the official menopause, about 2.5 years ago. I'm 53. So at around 51, I had the menopause. And I always thought it was funny when people would say the menopause, but now I understand the menopause is the last day of your menses and you never have one again. So because I had a hysterectomy, it was kind of hard to tell. And my doctor, because of all of my symptoms and my willingness to do a lot of tests now and go down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's going on, did a bunch of tests and found out that I was very low on all my hormones. And so they started me on hormone therapy last November. It is August as of this recording, and that has been a roller coaster ride. So many things have improved with hormone therapy, but one thing that got worse was I saw rapid weight gain very quickly. And today I started a new hormone therapy, so I'm hoping that helps. But I had been weight stable for 4 years, so it was kind of depressing. And some days, honestly, I just didn't want to get on here. It wasn't a huge amount of weight, like 10 pounds, which is huge when you're a smaller person. But it was very depressing to feel bloated all the time. A lot of times my hands would be so swollen I couldn't wear my rings. I would feel like I had a puffy face, and they've been tinkering with my hormones, and you just, not in the best space with that. Though my mental health feels a lot steadier and stable, my anxiety and headaches and achiness got so much better with hormone therapy. So yeah, so there's a lot been going on, not to mention during all of this, I keep wanting to get on here and talk to you guys about the finances, and we've had some changes this year, some big changes, not in a positive either, and I'll get right to that. But my son had knee surgery, my youngest son who has autism. I'm his caregiver. My dad had back surgery, and I am their caregiver also, in a sense. I do all the doctor's appointments. I have to be there to help and do all the driving and stuff. And my husband is great at helping me with my parents as well. And then I am also, my husband had to have a heart procedure. So it's kind of hard sometimes to come on to these platforms and be like, hey, my life is not great, because YouTube is, every time you're on YouTube giving your opinion or your thoughts, there's always the naysayers and the people who are going to be negative and tell you how to live your life. And when you're already stressed, that's the last thing you want to do. Most of the people that come on my channel are very nice. And some of you, I feel like I know you personally. Some of you I do know personally. But let's talk about where we are financially. So anyways, I've gone through a ton of tests. They determined I have sleep apnea, a genetic form. They've got me on oxygen at night right now. I'm hoping to be able to get off of that because I was really sick when they first did the test, and I've gotten better. And the other thing they have found is that I'm having post-ventricular contractions. My heart will do extra heartbeats every so often. So we're trying to get down to the bottom of why that's happening, and it could be the sleep apnea. But I'm doing better than I have been in a while. Also, my husband has passed his procedure. He's doing better. My dad actually just came from the hospital. My dad's back in the hospital, and I'm going to go back over to his rehab tonight when we get him set up. But our business, so we have a roofing business, and right now my husband and I simply run our roofing business and our Airbnb. We had both had other jobs. We worked 2 jobs until I was 52 and he was 65. We owned the businesses, and then I used to be a yoga therapist. I was self-employed. I was a business, teaching workshops in school and things like that. But we worked those 2 jobs each and had the Airbnb until just a few years ago, a year ago for him and 2 years ago for me. And so every so often in construction or roofing, because it's a weather-related business, you'll have a really slow year. And this year has been incredibly slow. Last year was the busiest year we'd ever had. We had 2 really busy years, and you just have to be prepared for that in a business. You have to be prepared for the downturns. Unfortunately, though, this was the year that we were trying to reach our goal so that we could retire in December. That is not going to happen. It looks like we're going to have to work until next summer. The market is down, so our investments are down a little bit. It has come back up, and we just haven't been able to save as aggressively as we would have liked. But we have been able to save because my husband did leave his job in police work. So that regular paycheck hasn't been coming in, and the healthcare costs for us almost tripled when he left his job. And while we knew we could absorb those costs, we have had to cut back. And so what does that look like for us? That means just for us at this stage in life, being more mindful of our spending, not going out to eat as much. And this is something that's kind of a new development because we really didn't know. It's been slowing down progressively until right now it's gotten pretty slow. Where last year we would do like anywhere from 16 roofs to 20 a month. We're doing about 8 a month right now. So I've asked my accountant to reduce our paychecks. We are being mindful of things like just when we go out to eat, drinking water, not going out to eat as much, being mindful of our needs versus wants. If it isn't a need and it's a want, saying, is this something I really value or really need? I'm getting better. In my Amazon cart, I mostly buy needs on there. But if it's not an absolute necessity, like dog food or dog medicine or some things I order, mostly for my animals, I order off of Amazon. I ask myself, is this a need or a want? And I'll put it in my cart. And sometimes I will go back to it, but more often than not, I don't. And that helps tremendously. I've been keeping an eye on our spending more, and I alternate grocery stores. I've been using the Kroger. If you have a Meijer, I think they're also Kroger. I've been using those coupons more when I go to the store. Meal planning and just trying to eat at home. We have had some big expenses over the past year. And so I have told my husband we didn't have to, but we found a really good deal on a tractor. And we've lived here almost 7 years, and our tractor's been too small, and it's beating my husband to death. We own 40 acres, and we needed a bigger tractor. We found a really great deal on a used tractor, and so we did buy that. We have had our house painted in the past year. And remember, a lot of this was at the end of last year of 2023. So we bought a side-by-side from a client who sold it to us for $2,000, brand new. They're like $20,000. We had to buy a carport for all of our equipment, our farm equipment, and that was $2,500. All of these things we got a deal on. We painted our house because it was time. That was around $7,500. And last year we purchased a car for me. With the sale of my car and the new car, that was $25,000. And a lot of these things, what I would do is I would wait until we met our financial goal, till we had put our savings in before. Sorry about the kind of shadows on my face as the sun is changing, it's changing. We would meet our savings goals and save up for these things before we paid for them. Some of them were business related expenses. And so this year, we've had a lot of medical bills for me, and we purchased the tractor. And so we will sell our old tractor. I don't think I finished saying I spent $13,000 saved money on my car, and $12,000 came from the car. It was $25,000, which is the most we've ever spent on a vehicle. And I purchased a 5-year-old vehicle, 5-year-old Honda CRV with 59,000 miles on it. So anyway, now that we're to this point where we're making less money and we're not able to save everything that we wanted to save, we are just trying to be mindful. And I've told my husband there'll be no more large purchases. Like, get creative, use what you have, do the low-hanging fruit on the farm. So he was going to take everything off the front of our barn and buy all new wood. And I said, if you can salvage the wood that's there, he'll be stripping down boards to make the pieces that go in the center, the battens, because it's board and batten. And he was going to go buy a metal gate. He went to look at a metal gate today at Tractor Supply, and it was $200. So we came up with a plan to build 2 wooden gates like that fasten in the center so that they open like this. Because the span is so big, it needed a metal, or it needed 1 big gate, or we decided we could do 2 that went like this. So just get it. I told him, like, you're going to have to get creative. You have this new tractor, so it's time to start focusing on cleaning up the property, trimming trees, doing all the things that you've been wanting to do. And this will save us money, and the fact that we won't have to pay anybody to come out and do some of the work that he wasn't able to do because he didn't have the proper equipment. And in all of this is kind of a very blunt thing to say, but one thing I do want to say is you have to have a plan. And so we have our money situated, our retirement money situated in our real estate, our home, and our Airbnb. And normally I don't look at a home as an asset, but we help, because we own a 40-acre farm, we have land that is an asset, and we have the Airbnb. We have cash and CDs and high yield savings, which is also the bridge account and emergency funds, okay? And money set aside for those big purchases that we've been saving for years. As again, we always live we live below our means to save for future expenses. And then we have our investments, 401k, IRA. I know that should something happen, or we get to the point, the last lever we would ever have to pull would be selling land or our house. And we would sell it with all the equipment, and probably if something happened to him, I'd have to sell it with the farm animals too. A lot of people want those anyway. But it was provided they were good, pet owners if I had to leave the farm. So again, it's just about having a plan, being prepared for the downtimes. So cutting back when times are tight, and when you are making more money, making sure you meet your goals first, and any excess goes to those extra expenditures. I mentioned veganism earlier in this, which seems like kind of a weird place to go to, but I'm continuing with my vegan, whole food, plant-based diet. It's been frustrating to gain weight on that because I've always been able to maintain the past 4 years my weight on this, eating like this. I don't eat highly processed food. I don't eat sugar. I only use natural sugars like stevia, or occasionally I'll use like a stevia blend, not with sugar, with erythritol, which is a natural sugar. I've been cutting down my caffeine because of my PVCs, so that I'm drinking half-calf coffee now. And just continuing to eat a whole food, plant-based diet. And all I know that I can control during this time, and we all go through the stages where maybe we have an injury or something happens and we're not getting our exercise or our food the way we want. I can only control so much. I can control what I put in my mouth. I don't have the ability to do a lot of activity or exercise with my health because my breathing is so compromised. But I am up to walking a half a mile at a very slow pace. I was walking about 2 miles a day, up to 6 when I was really doing well. I can't do that anymore. And I'm trying to do yoga at least every other day at home. But I try to have an attitude of focusing on what I can do rather than what I can't do. And when I am doing the positive things like eating a healthy diet or walking a half a mile and then later on in the day doing a 10-minute yoga video or whatever, I feel like I'm taking control back from a feeling of not having control over my body, feeling like it's betraying me. So I hope this has been helpful for somebody. I know it's a bit of ramble, but I mainly just wanted to do an update. Thank y'all so much, and I appreciate you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.